We've got some big rivalry matches this weekend with the Merseyside and West London Derbies. That's Everton versus Liverpool and Tottenham versus Chelsea for the uninitiated. Also, City look to keep up their recuperated momentum with KDB back at the helm. So buckle up for some goals to be scored and tempers to run hot as we prognosticate about the results for this weekend today on Coffee with a Kick. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Coffee with a Kick. We are here for match day 15 predictions. We're in the midst of this busy winter season, and we've got a nice full slate here for the weekend, plus Monday. So anything you want to say, anything you want to get off your chest before we get started here, Keegan?
This is not a recap episode, but...
Did I say recap?
No, this is what I'm getting off my chest.
Okay.
I'm feeling a little better than last episode. I'll just say that. We'll get into the recap, but I feel
good to go.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, then let's go ahead and get into this next match day, which kicks off with, oh boy, just what a great one here. It is the Merseyside Derby, right? So Everton and Liverpool start us off. With Everton hosting this leg. Liverpool, we'll cover in the prediction, in the recap episode, because this one is the prediction episode, took a bit of a stumble. But do you think they right the ship this match day?
I think it'll be a 0-0 draw.
Really?
I think Everton is playing pretty decently. Scoring a lot of goals as of late. I think this will be a 0-0 draw, Merseyside Derby. Because Liverpool, outside of the Real Madrid 2-0 win last midweek, their last 2 or 3 Premier League games outside of City have not been... They've been kind of squeaking by with some late goals. So I have a goalless draw here.
Yeah. That plays... and it's cut both directions as well. But I actually do have Liverpool taking all 3 points here. They stumbled, like I said. But I think that they will go ahead and take the full 3. 2-1 is what I have here. So still a respectable derby. Still, a fair match here. But I don't think Everton. I've been down in Everton for years now, and they keep on sticking around. But here's one that I've got a spicy pick on here. Aston Villa hosts Southampton. Is this? Oh, let me get back to this other screen here. Load. Yeah, also on Saturday, this one at 10 a.m., Aston Villa has been essentially garbage up until they beat Brentford this past match day. But I think they revert back to their previous form where they were struggling against sides, and Southampton really needs a win. They are not doing too hot, and I'm going to give it to them 2-0 at Aston Villa.
Wow, that's bold.
Like I said, it's a spicy pick.
It was also something I also wanted to be bold in. I have it 2-1 Southampton. Okay, not good. 2-0. I don't trust them to keep a clean sheet, but yeah, I think Aston Villa is vulnerable. Like you said, Southampton needs the points, so I think they'll at least put up a good match.
I certainly hope so. Obviously, I hope for good matches in every respect, everywhere. This next one is at GTEC Community Stadium in Brentford. Brentford hosts Newcastle. How do you have this one going with Newcastle coming off of their high-flying draw in the midweek?
I have it as 1-1. This entire weekend, I feel like, will be a culmination of the continued... Some teams have played 5 matches in, 15, 16 days. Yeah. Other teams have played 4, if you're including the FA Cup. So all these teams are playing a lot of matches. Mm-hmm. I think this weekend, not as much scoring. So I'm going to go 1-1 Brentford-Newcastle.
I had it as 1-1, but as we've learned from this past match day, we cannot fully agree. It doesn't go well for anyone when we fully agree on a match. So I took it down to 0-0. Took it down to a 0-0 draw from Brentford and Newcastle. And that's what I'm going to stick with because I don't know that either side is... Newcastle, we've said, has been very up and down, and they're kind of leveling out just at drawing people apparently now. Yep. So I'm going to have Brentford get the point at home as the home dog. I mean, they are the home dog here, but we'll leave it as 0-0 on my side because I don't think 2-2 is a likely score line here. It's either going to be 1-1 was pushing it for me, so I'll take it down to 0-0. And then to the rejuvenated Manchester City, going to Crystal Palace. I've got it at 4-0. I think that they've started to... Reborn is now playing the full shift, you know? It definitely helps things out, help grease those wheels. 4-0 is what I've got.
Yeah, they're a different team when KDB is in there. I mean, less focus on possession and defense and more focus on let's just go get some goals.
Yeah.
Doku also was a relief as well in there. I mean, he played great. I had it as 4-0. I changed it before I heard your pick. Okay. I have it as 6-0.
Wow. Okay.
I think rejuvenated City winning 3-0 is huge against Nottingham. I think they go to Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace has not been the team that you think they're going to score a lot of goals this season. And if they can keep teams at bay, they get points. But I think City and the Liverpools and Chelsea's, it's going to be hard to continue to keep them at bay. So I think this one goes 6-0, going for the big ones.
Yeah, Crystal Palace is 1 goal off of the bottom. Southampton has 11. They have 12, which is less than a goal a game, mind you. So, you know, I thought you might take it to 4-1 just because it's hard to trust City to get a clean sheet, but they kind of broke that streak this past match day in the midweek. So 6-0, though. That's bold. That's a spicy pick. Even if Manchester City not favored that heavily in this one, oddly enough. But still, we'll see, especially for being, 4th versus 17th. Then to Manchester United and Nottingham at Old Trafford. What do you have for these external town rivals, as you would put it?
Regional rivals.
Regional rivals. Okay, sure. Yeah.
I think Man United reverted back against Arsenal. First half was fine. Second half, we saw them make a lot of mistakes, just immature mistakes, really. Mm-hmm. Nottingham not going to be too happy they lost to City. I think it's going to go 1-0 Nottingham. Oh. I think Nottingham takes all 3 points.
Well, I'm going to keep rooting for Manchester United to creep their way further back up the table. So I do have it as a 3-0 victory for Nottingham Forest. I'm saying that was a blip on a growing pain last week. I mean, Arsenal's also a very good side, and they were at Arsenal, right? Yes, they were at the Emirates. So I think that they're back home. Nottingham Forest has started to descend back down the table here with 3 out of the last 4 matches ending up being losses. And they only beat Ipswich Town 1-0. So I think Nottingham Forest is the world is coming back into order. Manchester United going up the table, Nottingham Forest coming down the table. Moves that we both needed.
Ever since November 5th, the world is coming back to order.
That's right. Absolutely. And hopefully they don't put a political pause on our ads this time, because they've done that the past couple times for obliquely mentioning anything politics related. YouTube. The election's already over, so I don't even know what it's about. Anyways, Fulham and Arsenal. I know this isn't the recap episode that will come later, but Flynn21, great to see you back. Great call on Fulham winning 3-1 last week. I almost went there this week against Arsenal. I actually did. I went 2-1 though. And Fulham is doing, they put in the work in the midweek. They lost to Tottenham, but they're at Tottenham. So they're at Fulham, taking on Arsenal, at good old Craven Cottage. And I'm going to say 2-1 against Arsenal here.
Well, I had 2-1, but I made the executive decision to change it to 1-0 Fulham victory. I don't know if I can give them 3 goals against Arsenal. Yeah, certainly possible. Yeah. But 1-0 at home could be a dubious win for Fulham. It'll be tough, but I think they can do it.
It'd be tough, but I mean, hey, that puts them in. That'll put them into 5th. I mean, if depending on the result with Brighton Hove Albion, they won't have enough to crack into the top 4 because City's already at 26 and they're at 22. So that's not possible to crack in there. But still, Fulham doing quite well this season, all things considered. And then we go to Ipswich Town and Bournemouth. How do you have these, the Blues, or the Tractor Boys, as we will continue to call them, according to Wikipedia, doing here at home against Bournemouth, against them cherries?
I have the Tractor Boys rolling pretty well here, but not too well. I think it's 1-1 Ipswich v Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth is a little bit better of a team and coming off a pretty signature win. So Bournemouth, definitely a team that is very good at home and not very good away. So that's something to consider. But versus Ipswich, I think they get a point, 1-1.
See, I think Bournemouth has a little bit of a letdown. Beating Tottenham at home is always a big deal for them. Tottenham just being a legacy side in the Premier League. But now they have to go away to Ipswich Town. It's a lesser opponent by far. Sometimes you can play down to the competition after a big victory. And I think that's what happens here. And Ipswich Town actually takes it 2-0. Just going for some pointage here, trying to get some moolah back in the bank here. And then to another side that is, toying with relegation for certain. Leicester City hosts Brighton Hove Albion at what King's Power Stadium, right? It's still called that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, still called King Power Stadium. And this one, I think Brighton is playing well enough to take all three against Leicester, and pretty easily as well. I've got it going 3-1 towards Leicester. Not towards Leicester, towards Brighton, because I don't trust Leicester, and Brighton's still up in the top. They lost against Fulham, like we just mentioned, and drew Southampton, but they'll need to start getting some points back in their side. They haven't dropped off the cliff like they did last season after a good start. They've managed to hang on. They need to try to get some more points in their favor to keep that momentum in the right direction.
As we saw midweek, the new manager is already inspiring Leicester to get a win versus a decent team in West Ham, at least by name. I think they do it again. They do it again. They're at home. Home has been a place all year Leicester have been good at. And I think that now they've got some vigor in them. They're more inspired with the new manager. The fans will be more excited to be there. I think it goes 2-0. Leicester beats Brighton. Brighton have been that team that they've been streaky. They've kind of fallen back into who they were last year.
Yeah.
Right. Like 3 wins in a row, a couple draws, a couple losses. So I think they continue with another loss.
Well, we'll see who's right there in pretty short order. And then to Tottenham and Chelsea, probably the headline from the weekend, I would say, just as far as name recognition is concerned. I would say also just competition as well. Maybe Fulham Arsenal, but for right now, we're going to say Tottenham Chelsea, which how do you have this one going? It's pretty even units-wise. Chelsea the slight favorite, or a pretty decent favorite, really. But at Tottenham, which does not reflect well on them birds.
Yeah,
The Magpies. That's it, Magpies.
Chelsea has always been kind of the big brother when it comes to Tottenham in London. Mm-hmm. And history will show you in their results that Chelsea, I think they're averaging like 3 goals a game versus Tottenham over the last 35 times they played each other. Obviously, that's a lot. It's a lot of times, but there's going to be some goals. It's going to be fun. Chelsea is in very good form, and they're scoring all over the place. I mean, 6 different goal scorers in the midweek. I'm going to go 4-2 Chelsea beating Tottenham. Tottenham, there's already some rumors that Ainge could be moving on because he's apparently he's losing the locker room. People don't believe in his system.
Not Postecoglou. Not Postecoglou, no.
This could be it for him if they lose.
What am I going to do with my well-practiced Australian/New Zealand accent? This is actually more of a New Zealand one. What am I going to do? It's terrible. But I'm on the same wavelength as you. I only have it at 3-2. I have a little bit closer. But yeah, these are 2 of the top 3 goal-scoring teams this season, Tottenham and Chelsea. So I'm expecting goals. I'm expecting fireworks here, just not as many as you with the 2-4. And then we'll move to the last one. Not looking forward to it. My Wolves, speaking of streaky, my Wolves win 2, lose 2. Who knows what this one's going to do. It's a winnable match for sure. West Ham not performing great right now. They're on a 2-game slide as well, although their competition was better. I mean, they played Arsenal and, well, Leicester's not very good. But, we lost to Bournemouth and Everton. 4-0. Not great. Do we fix anything in this one?
I think that you have a really good chance here because West Ham is one of the leakiest teams so far in 2024. They have given up 71 goals so far in the 33 games that they played in the year of 2024. So it's not even just a this season issue. It's been a calendar year issue. I don't see that changing here at the end of the year. I think they lose 3-1. I think Wolves have shown they can score. Cunha is starting to get hot. Some other guys, Strand Larson has also been a guy who's been pretty reliable in front of goal. And West Ham, they've just been leaky. Like, they can score a couple of times. They can get 1 or 2 goals, but their defense has been one of the least consistent things all season, Premier League wide. And I think that continues. Wolves get a key away win.
It would be great. I mean, the only team kind of leakier is the Wolves. I mean, we've given up 36 goals this season alone, and we're putting a bunch of them past our own net, which is great. Yes, I appreciated your text. We'll cover that in the recap episode, obviously.
He was close.
He tried. He certainly tried. But that brings us to the end of our predictions here for this weekend with my Wolves and West Ham on Monday. That's Chelsea is, in fact, the headline because that's the Sunday night game. Because it's not night over here when it happens. But anyways, anything you want to say before we get out of here?
We're nearing that halfway point. It's getting exciting. Boxing Day is going to come up. If you've been hankering for a lot of Premier League soccer, this is going to be the time to start tuning in and watching. So,
I say you could tune in at any time and watch what we have. Not when you have a hankering for it. Just, put it on repeat. We got them in playlists. Just put on the playlist, put it in repeat. It's great. It's good fun. You can always like and subscribe. Ring the bell is what they say. Does anybody actually ring the bell for notifications? If you do,
if you subscribe, you automatically get put into notifications. So
the ring the bell thing is an antiquated term of phrase.
Yeah.
Or drop a subscription on our Substack, which the link is in the description of the episode. But until we get to our recap episode we'll see if we can get to the recap episode before having to do both of these. But until we see you again, why don't you go ahead and wrap